SharePoint at 25 celebration. My name is Nasma Paramal Chandrapangan. I am the co-founder of GG Technologies Private Limited, and I am an Office 365 MVP for last 10 years, and I mainly focus on M365. And my company does tenant-to-tenant migration for M365, and we support all the workloads, all the major workloads like Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, all the Power Platform, Power BI, Planner, everything is supported. And today we are going to talk about something that has been at the heart of SharePoint since day one, the permissions and security. For 25 years, SharePoint's permission model has been the backbone of secure collaboration. But here is the thing. In 2026, with AI, Copilot, and agents entering our workspaces, permissions have never mattered more. What used to be a question of who can see this file is now a question of what can AI surface from our data. Over the next 45 minutes, I will walk you through the fundamentals, show you the common mistakes, and then do a live demo of SharePoint Advanced Management, a powerful governance toolset that helps you to find and fix problems at scale. Permission mainly focuses on governance and fixing the problems at scale. So let's get started. So this is the agenda. So here is what we will cover today. We will spend the first 10 minutes building a shared understanding of how SharePoint permissions work and where they go wrong. And then the bulk of the session, around 25 minutes, is a live demo on SharePoint Advanced Management. And I will show you how to discover oversharing, fix it immediately, and set up ongoing governance. We will wrap with the governance playbook that you can take back to your organization, and then we will open up for Q&A. The demo is the star of the show, so let's set the stage quickly. So let's start with the foundation, the permission model that has powered SharePoint for 23 years. So SharePoint permissions work on hierarchy model. At the top, we have the tenant, then the site collections, then the sites or subsites, and then we have libraries and lists. And finally, we have individual items or the documents. The key concept is inheritance. By default, permission flow from down from parent to the child. So if I grant someone access to a site, they automatically get access to every library and document at that site. This is clean and manageable until someone breaks the inheritance. When you break inheritance on a library or a document, that item gets its own independent set of permission. Now it's no longer inheriting from the parent, and you have to manage it separately. Breaking inheritance is not always wrong. Sometimes you genuinely need different permissions on a specific folder or a document. But at scale, it creates manageable nightmare, and that's where the problem begins. So here, there are three main ways people get access to SharePoint content. First, the SharePoint groups. So we know in SharePoint groups, we have owners, members, visitors. This is the cleanest model. You assign a role and permissions are clear. It is very, very clear and easy to go. And then the second one, the direct permissions, where you add individual users or enter ID groups directly. This works, but it's harder to track who has access and why you have done this, why they have assigned the direct permissions. And then the third one, the sharing links. And this is where the most of the problem starts. End users can create sharing links from any document. So you know that anyone with a link means literally anyone on the internet. And then people in your organization means every employee. These links are created, shared, and mainly those are forgotten. And then there's a special case, everyone except external users, or we can, in short, we can say EEEU. This is built-in client that represents every single internal user in your organization. When someone shares a site or a document with everyone except external users, they have essentially given the entire company access. That's the number one oversharing pattern we see. And it's often done accidentally. So let me show you some of the four most common anti-patterns we see in the organizations. The first one, the item level permissions at scale. So when you break inheritance on hundreds of individual documents, SharePoint creates a unique security scope for each one. This kills the performance, makes the security model impossible to audit, and confuses everyone. And then the second one, everyone except external users on a sensitive sites. When HR or finance shares a site with everyone except external users, they have just given the entire organization access to salary data, contracts, or legal documents. The third one, the orphaned site sharing links. Someone creates an someone creates anyone with the link URL for a quick collaboration. The project ends, but the link lives forever. Nobody reviews it and nobody going to revoke it. And fourth one, no site ownership. So sites created years ago with no active owners. The content is still, but still people, maybe hundreds or thousands of people still have access to it, and nobody is accountable for cleaning it. So these are the problems. So now you might be thinking, we have always had this problem. So what changed? So these are the some of the common four anti-patterns that we see in most of the organizations. And then now the question is, what we already know these problems are already there, but what's changed? What's getting changed? So what's changed is AI. Let me explain. So this is the key slide. Before Copilot, oversharing was a problem, but it is a quiet one. If someone had access to a site, they shouldn't. They would need to actually navigate to that site, find the document, and then open it. But most people never did it. With the Copilot, the changes completely. Copilot automatically indexes everything a user has access to. When they ask us question, what is the latest salary benchmark or summarize our legal strategy, Copilot will pull from every site the user has access. This is the main thing. Copilot will pull from every site the user have access, including the HR site that was accidentally shared with everyone except external users 3 years ago. The user does not even have to look for the data. The Copilot surfaces it proactively. Here is the critical thing to understand. Copilot respects your existing permissions, but it won't show data to someone who does not have access. But it will amplify every mistake in those permissions. If 500 people have access to a site that should be restricted to 5, Copilot make that a 500% data exposure problem. This is why we need a governance tool. And that's exactly what SharePoint Advanced Management gives us. All right, let's move to the live demo. I'm going to show you SharePoint Advanced Management in action. We will discover oversharing problems, fix them immediately, and set up the ongoing governance. So before I switch to the demo, let me give a quick explain what SharePoint Advanced Management is. So SharePoint Advanced Management, or SAM, is a governance suite built directly into the SharePoint Admin Center. It has three core capabilities. First one, discovery. SharePoint Advanced Management provides a data access governance reports that scan your entire tenant and tell you which sites are overshared, who has access, and where the risks are. The second one, the remediation. SharePoint Advanced Management gives you two powerful tools to fix the problems immediately. RAC, the restricted access control, or we call it in short RAC or RAC, adds a second layer of authorization using the intra security groups. And then we have restricted content discovery, or we call it as RCD, hides the sites from Copilot and the organization-wide search. And the third one is the monitoring. SharePoint Advanced Management tracks changes, manages site lifecycle, and provides ongoing audit capabilities. You can get SAM either as a standalone license or it is included with M365 Copilot. There is also a 30-day trial available. You can try it after this demo. So now let me show you all of this in action. Let me switch to SharePoint Admin Center. So I am in the SharePoint Admin Center. Let me navigate to reports and then the data access governance. Okay, I'm already in the data access governance. The first report I want to show is site permissions for your organization. So this is the report I want to show. The site permissions across your organization. It analyzes the current permission state across every site in your tenant. Okay, let me open the report. So now we are on the site permissions across your organization. Right away at the top, I can see the key numbers. There are totally 199 sites in our tenant, and out of these 79, have at least one permission users, meaning everyone has been explicitly granted access through SharePoint groups, direct permissions, or sharing links. The remaining 85 sites have no individual trackable permissions. Things like system settings, system sites, or sites using only tenant by defaults. That 79 are that 79 is the number what matters. Those are the sites with active permissions that we need to govern. And there are two reports here, a SharePoint report and a OneDrive report. SharePoint report and then OneDrive report. Let me click on the view report on the SharePoint one. Okay, sorry, I just give me a minute. Okay, so we are on the organization-wide SharePoint site permission report. So this lists the top 100 sites ranked by number of unique users who have access. Look at the columns like site name, URL, number of files, items with unique permissions, total permissioned users, list users, and external participants. Now, this is where it's getting interesting. I can immediately spot there is a site have most exposure. Look at this site has 57 permissioned users, and this one have 47, 46. And this is the column items with unique permissions. Items with unique permissions that tells me inheritance has been broken and individual documents inside that site, which is a red flag or a permissions problem. I can filter by template. I can filter by template or by site sensitivity or by external sharing and privacy. And I can download the full report for offline analysis. This simple report gives me a complete picture of my tenant's permission posture. I did not have to visit each site individually. The SAM scanned all the 199 sites and gave me the results right here. Now let me show you a question every IT admin should ask before enabling Copilot for any user. Before I turn on Copilot for a specific user called Alex Wilber, what data can Alex see? So we are going to see this. Again, I'm going back to the data governance, data access governance, and then I'm going to cite permissions for users. Here I can create a report for a specific user who has access to all the sites he has. For example, in this demo, I have created an user permission report for Alex. So look at this. Alex has access to over 25 sites across our tenant, and some of these make sense. He is already in the marketing team, so the marketing site is expected. But look, he has access to HR confidential site and finance reports, company policies. Does Alex needs access to salary data? Probably not. Without this report, I would never have known. So without this report, the IT admin never known that he has access to all these steps. Maybe outside his current working of marketing team, he has access to uh, his HR site and then financial reports and everything. So Alex probably does not even know he has access to these sites. But if you turn on Copilot for Alex, Copilot will be able to pull data from all of these sites. This is the power of permission user report. It shows you the blast radius before you flip the switch on for Copilot. So before you are going to start enabling the Copilot for any of the users, come here, use the SharePoint Advanced Management, create a user report permission, and see what are the permission the specific user has, and review everything, and then you go and enable the Copilot. This is the best ways we have. Now let me show you the activity-based report. Let me go back to the data access governance, and then let me go to this report, shared with everyone except the external users. Shared with everyone except external user report shows every site where everyone except external users has been granted access. Here is our Here is our company policy site shared with everyone except external users. That means every single employee in our organization can read and edit this content. This is probably not the intention. And here is what the sharing link reports will help. So let me go back to the data access governance, and then let me go to the sharing link report. Here, here in the sharing links report, I can see shared with the anyone links, and then which is accessible by anyone on the internet, and then sites with anyone links accessible for sites with people in your organization links accessible by all internet users. I can I can download the full user details as a CSV file for offline analysis. The CSV will include the site URL, the admin, the sharing settings, the number of links shared. Now we have identified the problem. Let me show you how to fix them. So we have identified the problem, like the company policy, which has been shared with everyone except the external user. And also previously we have seen Alex has access to HR confidential document, company policies, financial team reports like this. But he is working on the marketing team. We are going to see how we can fix these problems. So going and editing the permissions individually for each of the users in each of the sites is going to be a difficult task. But as you are going to roll out Copilot or everything to your in your organization, so we need something, a solution which can scale the governance. We want the governance at scale. That's the main thing here. So we shall see how we can fix it. So this is the most powerful features in SharePoint Advanced Management, restricted access control or RAC. So let me navigate to the SharePoint Admin Center, and then let me go to the active sites. Let me go to a specific project alpha. Let me open that settings. Here is the setting called restricted site access. Let me toggle it on. So now it asks me for a control group, a intra security group. I will add the specific security group. So done. Now what we have done is that we have opened a specific SharePoint site, and then we are restricting the site access to a specific security group. So what just happened? I have added a second layer of authorization to this site. Previously, anyone with any kind of permission, whether through SharePoint groups, direct access, or sharing links, could access this site. Now they need two things. They need the existing SharePoint permissions, and they need to be a member of this specific security group, SC Project Alpha members security group. This is instant, and uh, I have to go through and I don't have to go through every single document and revoke individual sharing links. I didn't have to clean up the SharePoint groups. This restricted access control just say, I don't care what other permissions exist. If you are not in the security group, you won't get access. You can't get in. And this is the critical. This is also applies to Copilot. If your user is not in restricted access control group, the Copilot cannot surface content from the site for that user. Think of restricted control access as an emergency brake for your oversight. You can apply it immediately while you take time to properly clean up permissions. Now let me show you the second remediation tool, restricted content discovery or RCD. Let me again go to a specific SharePoint site. So this tenant does not have the Copilot license. I am going to another tenant to show this specific setting. Just give me a moment. I am on another SharePoint site. Here is the setting, restrict content from Microsoft 365 Copilot. Let me toggle this on. So what this does is different from restricted access control. RCD does not change who has access to this site. Users who already have direct permission can still navigate to this site. No open documents. What RCD, this restricted con what this restricted RCD does is hide the site from Copilot and from organization-wide search. So when someone asks Copilot, what is your salary benchmark? Copilot will not pull from this HR confidential site, even if the user is technically has access. Think of RCD as a quarantine. You are saying, I know this site has busy permission, and I have not had time to clean them up yet. So while I'm working on it, I'm going to hide it from AI. So this is perfect for sites with the legacy permissions you have not reviewed yet, sites with the stale content that's outdated and could mislead Copilot, and sites going through a permission audit. RAC and RCD work together. put together grade. Rack locks the door and RCD hides the door. Use both for sensitive sites. So we have found the overshared sites and we have applied emergency controls, but for long-term fix requires actual cleaning of permissions. And in real organization, you can't do that alone. You need to delegate it. So we are going to see how you can clean up the permission and also how you can delegate this one. So now again, I'm going to the SharePoint Admin Center and I'm navigating to reports, data access governance. And then I'm going to open the triple EU report, everyone except external users report. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a specific report. And then here we can see the company policy site is managed by Alex. So I'm going to select this specific site and then I can insert the site access to me. Here I can specifically I can specify who should review the permissions. I will set the reviewer, I reviewer to Alex, who is the owner of this site. And also I can add a custom message. Alex, this site has flagged as overshare because it is accessible to everyone except external users. Please review who has access and remove users who no longer need it. Then Alex will receive an email with the review request. He can review the permissions, clean them up, and mark the review as complete. So this is how the governance scales. As SharePoint admin, you can't know the business context of every site, but SharePoint owners can. SharePoint Advanced Management lets you identify the problems centrally and delegate the fixes to the people who understand the content. Now, two more features I want to quickly show you. Let me go back to the center and then go to policies, site lifecycle management. Here we can create a policy that automatically finds inactive sites. Let me show you how that you can set up a policy inactive sites for say for 6 months or 3 months. You can find any sites with no activity for last 6 or 3 months. I have already created a policy, but let's create another policy. Here I can select all the sites. Even I can filter it by based on the template. In our case, I'm going to select everything. And then I can configure the policy, whether I want to include inactive policy for last 3 months, 6 months, or 1 or 2 months. It provides various options. And then here you can see the type of action you can do. Suppose if you don't want any enforcement to be done, you can just select do nothing. If you want to make some enforcement, for example, you can convert the site to a read-only access. So no one can edit the site, but only they can view the site. And what Microsoft recommends is that instead of converting it to read-only access, they are recommending it to archive the site. This is another option they have provided. So that's it. So first I can run this policy in simulation mode. Once I'm satisfied with the results, I can convert this policy into active state. So I can already a proper the report has been done. I can download the detailed report and then I can what are the sites which are dead but with live permission. If someone turns on Copilot, this tail data could end up in responses. And the policy can automatically notify the site owners, and you can choose to archive sites and make them read only or just prepare them for read. And then I want to show you another one. Let me go back to the active sites, and then I can select any of the site, and then I can click on this recent actions. Here you can see it will give you the audit trail of every admin changes in the SharePoint for last 180 days. Even you can download this report. Once it is exported, you can see what changed when on which site. And also you can notice the rack and RCD changes that I have done in this demo. They will be logged right away here. This is essential for compliance, especially if you need to prove that the governance controls were applied, or you need to investigate how a permission change lead to data exposure. Let's wrap the live demo. Now let me switch back to the slides. So now that you have seen all the tools in action, let me give you a practical playbook where you can take back this to your organization. So here is a 4-step playbook you can implement in your organization. Step 1, discovery. In week 1, you can run the SharePoint permission report to understand your baseline. Run the everyone except external users and sharing the reports to find active oversight. Identify your top 10 riskiest sites. And then step 2, trades. In week 1 and 2, you run the permission users report for the users who will be getting the Copilot first. Prioritize the sites that have both sensitive content and broad access. Those are the highest risk target. And then the step 3, remediate. In week 2 and 3, apply the RAG on your business critical sites, the ones that must be locked down. Apply RCD or restricted content access. Apply RCD on the sites that you have not reviewed yet. Quarantine them from Copilot while you audit. And initiate site access reviews to get site owners involved in the cleanup. And finally, the fourth one, the autumn. This is the ongoing part. Set up the site lifecycle policies to catch inactive sites and sites without owners. Schedule quarterly data access governance reports so you are always aware of your permission posture and monitor the change history to catch unexpected changes. And this is not one-time project. Permission governance is an ongoing practice, but with SharePoint Advanced Management, you have the tools to make it manageable. So thank you so much for attending this session. Let me quickly recap what we have covered. We have started with the fundamentals, how SharePoint permissions work, inheritance, and how permissions are granted through groups, direct access, and sharing links. We talked about oversharing problem and why it matters more now than ever, because Copilot amplifies every mistake in your permissions. Then we did a live demo of SharePoint Advanced Management. We discovered the oversharing with data access governance reports, and we fixed it immediately with RAC and RCD. And we have we have delegated the cleanup using the site access reviews. And we set up ongoing governance using site lifecycle policies and change history. And this is the 4-step playbook to implement in your organizations. I have listed the key documentation links here, and the SharePoint overview page is a great starting point. And E5 guide has full oversharing blueprint from Microsoft. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And we are open for questions if you have anything.
Thank you, Narasimha. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question.
So let me put down some common questions that you may have. So whether SAM requires, SharePoint Advanced Management requires a Copilot license? No, you can SharePoint Advanced Management as a standalone license, or there's a 30-day trial. With Copilot, it is included automatically. And then another question, does RAG affect the existing SharePoint group members? Yes, RAC or the restricted content access overrides, even if you are in the owners group. If you are not in the RAC security group, you are logged out. How quickly does RCD takes effect? It is near instant for new queries. Existing cached results may take some time to update. And then the final question most of users will ask is, can site owners manage RAG themselves? Yes, as part of recent update, RAG management can be delegated to site owners directly.
Hi, Ishan, do you have any question?
Okay, thank you, Kunj. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nandit and the Pune Tech community. And I think Jenkins also shall join this session. Hi, Jenkins. Welcome back. Thank
Uh,
you, Kunj. Thank
Thank
you.
you.